helping you with real estate, Mr. Mike Johnston.
Today, I'm going to go through the independent contractor agreement. This is as of November 25th, 2020. The importance of having an independent contractor agreement is so that we can have everybody be updated to the most recent contractor agreement. In it, it specifies that you are not an employee. The importance of that is for tax purposes. And we need to have one on file. We've learned that some of us don't even have one on file. So we need to make sure that everybody has it. We're going to send this out to all of the agents so they can sign it electronically. And that'll be a big benefit to make it a little bit easier for all of us. Okay? So let's go through this. Here we put down the agreement dated, so you can put down today's date, your name, preferably the name that's on your license, your social security number, and also your license number. If you have any designations, we're asking you to fill that out. It's not a requirement, but it's nice to know. We're just curious what designations different licensees in our office have. And it says you've been licensed in Idaho since when? So if you could look that up on the Real Estate Commission website, that would be great. You can put the actual date on there, and you can find that out under your license on the Real Estate Commission site. It puts down that the designated broker, that's me, I'm considered the licensee in this document. Typically in other things, a licensee might be you, but in this particular document, the independent contractor agreement, whenever it says licensee, it's referring to the broker. The market center is also known as KW, or Keller Williams Realty East Idaho. We used to have the market center number 875 here, but that's not really necessary. The main address for the market center or the office is 3525 Merlin Drive in Idaho Falls, Idaho 83404. There are some standard recitals or certain paragraphs that are very common in this type of a document. So we have the engagement. This agreement is entered into on the date above between the associate, that would be you, and the licensee, that would be me, the broker and the company, identified above. Subject to the terms and conditions of this agreement, the licensee engages the associate as an independent contractor to assist clients with the purchase and sale of real estate. The associate accepts the engagement and agrees to provide the services of a real estate associate, salesperson, to customers and clients in the manner and subject to the conditions this agreement provides. So the general terms of the agreement. The associate, you, understand that he or she is entering into an agreement as an independent contractor and not as an employee. The licensee will have no responsibility to withhold or pay any income or other taxes on the associate's compensation, or to provide any insurance, retirement, or other employee benefits to the associate. The associate's independent contractor status will define the parties' relationship despite any contrary designation that appears on the associate's real estate license, website, signs, business cards, or other marketing or promotional material. Here, we're being very blunt in saying that you're an independent contractor. Even if you say on your card that you're an employee or some other thing that the public might think is different, that does not affect it. You are an independent contractor. The associate is free to determine his or her own business hours and to choose his or her own target customers and clients, marketing techniques, and sales methods. However, the associate agrees to conduct business in compliance with the standards of conduct prescribed by Keller Williams Realty East Idaho Market Center and or KWREI and or MC and or KW and Keller Williams Realty Inc., which is KWRI, the standards of conduct prescribed by the licensee with local, state, and federal laws that govern real estate brokerage, and with the bylaws and codes of ethics of each trade or professional organization of which the associate and or the licensee is a member. Without limiting the generality of these commitments, the associate agrees to the following: to comply with all laws, and all Keller Williams Realty International and the Market Center policies and guidelines, including but not limited to the Keller Williams Realty International Policy and Guidelines Manual, that apply to the dissemination of unsolicited emails, spam, and faxes, and to the use of telephone calls to market the associate's service or to solicit listings and or prospective buyers. To adhere to and comply with privacy policy and terms of use that Keller Williams Realty International publishes and prescribes from time to time from the kw.com website and others, from Keller Williams Realty International intranet and other websites owned and operated by Keller Williams Realty International and or the Market Center. Keller Williams Realty International and or the Market Center may, in its unfettered discretion, alter, vary, change, and or amend the privacy policy and or terms of use as Keller Williams Realty International and or the Market Center deems necessary from time to time. Also, adhere to and comply with Keller Williams Realty International and or the Market Center's guidelines and or restrictions that apply to the registration, ownership, and use of domain names for websites that display the Keller Williams trademark or logo, the display use of the Keller Williams name, trademarks, and logo on the internet, and the use of meta tags and other devices that attract internet search engines to such websites. And number 4, adhere to and comply with all other Keller Williams Realty International and or Market Center policies and guidelines, including but not limited to those set forth in the Keller Williams Realty International and to the Market Center's policy guidelines manual. See, right now, I just want to double check and make sure that you're catching everything. So it's a very important document that we have this information here, and we'll continue to go through this. And on some of these spots, when we send it out electronically, we'll have you initial to the side. That way we know that you've seen that particular section. It's just additional information. It's not required. The bottom of each page is what we need to have, that you've seen that particular page and your signature on the end. But it's always nice to have this other information. The associate acknowledges that he or she will read and become familiar with the Keller Williams Realty International Policies and Guidelines Manual. The associate also acknowledges that he or she has access to the Keller Williams Realty International Policies and Guidelines Manual through the KW intranet. That's at the mykw.kw.com, and may access and read it at any time. During the entire time that the associate remains with the Market Center, the associate agrees to list all real estate listings that the associate obtains and to handle all real estate transactions in which the associate engages in the name of Keller Williams Realty East Idaho. It's important that we have the full business name on the document. The associate agrees not to do anything by action, conduct, statement, or association that might damage the goodwill associated with Keller Williams Realty East Idaho's name, trademarks, or reputation, or cause the public to lose confidence in the Keller Williams system. Then here we'll have you initial the bottom of the page for sure. Letter F. The associate will have no authority to incur obligations on the licensee's behalf and promises: 1, not to sign any contract, agreement, lease, or note in the name of the licensee; 2, not to open or maintain any bank account or investment account in the name of the licensee; and 3, not to endorse for collection or deposit in the associate's personal account any check, money order, or the negotiable instrument made payable to the licensee. Commingling of funds, that's against the law. G, the associate has received notice that Keller Williams Realty East Idaho has subscribed to the workers' compensation statutes of the state of Idaho. In the event a court or arbitrator should find that the associate has entered into an employer-employee relationship with Keller Williams Realty East Idaho, which relationship Keller Williams Realty East Idaho expressly denies, the associate hereby gives Keller Williams Realty East Idaho notice that the associate elects not to be covered by the workers' compensation policy, which Keller Williams Realty East Idaho has subscribed to, and the associate does hereby waive his claim or her right of action in common law or under any statute and or other law to recover damages for any injuries sustained in the course of his or her independent contractual relationship. The associate rejects the coverage provided by the Workers' Compensation Act. That particular paragraph is to say that if for some reason somebody else feels that you're an employee with the company, that you will not be covered, that you're agreeing to say, okay, hey, I waive that right, because you're not an employee, you're an independent contractor. That's what we're really working hard with this document, is to do so. The associate shall not be treated as an employee with respect to the services performed hereunder for federal tax purposes. Here's some information that you need to make sure that you maintain. I, the associate shall maintain at his or her expense an automobile insurance policy in the face amount of $100,000 for any one person, $300,000 for more than one person rising out of a single accident or transaction, and $50,000 for property damage. Said insurance shall protect the associate against any liability which may arise in connection with the operation of his or her business as a real estate agent. All policies of insurance are to be maintained by the associate and shall contain a separate endorsement naming Keller Williams Realty East Idaho as an additional insured and shall not be subject to cancellation except on 10 days written notice to Keller Williams Realty East Idaho. The associate will deliver a copy to Keller Williams Realty East Idaho, attention MCA, Market Center Administrator, at 3525 Merlin Drive, Idaho Falls, Idaho 83404, on or before the effective date of each renewal. In the event the associate fails to obtain the separate endorsement, then the associate assumes full liability and responsibility and will hold harmless and defend Keller Williams Realty East Idaho from any and all claims made against them. So please make sure that you have a separate endorsement naming Keller Williams Realty East Idaho as an additional insured on your automobile insurance policy. And I'll say it now, on all of the pages, the very bottom, you'll initial. I'll just continue through. Compensation and expense allocation. A. So 3A. So, for so long as the associates association with the market center continues, all income earned from the associates real estate sales activities will be accounted for and dispersed through the market center as outlined in this agreement and or an attached team or group agreement. All compensation must be done through the broker. So that's why all the checks that come in, they don't go to you, they come to the office. The fines from the Real Estate Commission, because of the state of Idaho's law, it specifically says that you will receive compensation only from your broker in which you are licensed. B, the licensee will share the commissions earned on real estate transactions in which the associate works with or represents a client as a buyer or seller in accordance with the commission splitting and capping policies that the licensee offers generally to licensed sales associates. The licensee's current commission splitting and capping policies are described later in this agreement in Section 13, Commission Splitting and Capping Policies. The associate acknowledges that the licensee retains sole discretion to change these policies at any time and without any notice. The associate's compensation will be payable only from closed transactions, and the associate may not draw or borrow against any compensation payment. This includes not participating with commission advances or the like from outside entities. So if you're wanting to get some money ahead of time, the company will not sign any documents or papers that would permit that. Commission is earned only once it is done and completed. C, the associate will be solely responsible for paying the costs of his or her own, 1, real estate license fees, continuing education and occupational taxes, 2, insurance, including the associate's portion of errors and omissions insurance, the E&O, liability insurance and auto insurance, 3, transportation, 4, business cards, yard signs, brochures, and other marketing materials, 5, entertainment costs, dues, and other expenses incident to the conduct of his or her services as an associate, 6, internet website development and maintenance, and 7, certain fees assessed by Keller Williams Realty East Idaho for a listing on the kw.com website or other sites, for access to the Keller Williams intranet and email system, and for other benefits of association with the market center. D, participation fees and other expenses paid by the licensee on the associate's behalf are due and payable upon receipt, and the associate must remit payment by the 15th of each month. Accounts receivable not paid by the 21st will be charged a $20 late fee, and the associate will be required to provide a credit or debit card for future fees, and authorizes Keller Williams Realty East Idaho to charge any unpaid fees. A 2.5% credit card service charge may also apply. The associates, whom form teams or groups, the rainmaker may be held responsible for unpaid fees of any team or group members. A $25 non-sufficient funds fee will be charged on each and any returned check or checks. The associate agrees that if the associate does not pay fees in full when due, the licensee will deduct any unpaid amount from any of the associate's commissions. Participation fees include, but are not limited to, a new agent startup fee, which is $100 plus the E&O insurance amount, which is for January $250, February $225, March $200, April $175, May $150, June $125, July $400, August $375, September $350, October $325, November $300, and December $275. So that's the prorated E&O amount, which is the $100 new agent startup fee plus the E&O insurance coverage amount, which is roughly $300 a year, which may change up or down. The monthly participation fees start at $65. Then you can select one or more of the following of the monthly participation fees. It increases by the amount shown. For example, the agents typically join one or more of the MLSs. So if they're going to join the Snake River Regional MLS, it's between $30 to $40, and it's paid directly to Systems Engineering for Navica. If they're joining the Pocatello Association of Realtors MLS, that's $40 a month. The Teton Board of Realtors MLS is around $400 a year paid up front. Intermountain MLS is roughly $33 a month. I believe it's paid $99 a quarter. And Wasatch Front Regional MLS is around $39 or more a month. These numbers may change, and please be aware of those. And there are some fees sometimes set up with those when you begin or join one of those associations or MLSs, which you'd be responsible for. The above monthly participation fee includes the consortium fee, KW technical fee of $10, Keller Williams International, it supports your website, Keller Williams webmail, and the Market Center intranet. KW Command, $15, Keller Williams International, Real Estate Industry's complete lead to close agent business solution, including full lead management system, contact management system, customizable marketing library, and a paperless transaction workflow. Agent services, internet website, $40 a month for the Market Center. Additional expenses. Rent is applicable for office spaces if you choose to have an office space. Copies as applicable, roughly 6 cents each for black and white and 20 cents each for color copies. Folders, 20 of them for around $5. Letterhead, 17 cents. Envelopes, 21 cents. Large envelopes are 28 cents. UPS overnight envelopes are roughly around $10. Supplies and postage could be purchased. Replacement key fob for the doors to get into the buildings, or even keys, around $20. E&O insurance is roughly $300 per year and paid on the 1st of July. Keller Williams Realty International Agent Renewal Fee is $25 per year in February. That's to stay in the Keller Williams system. These fees may change at any time. Fees may be subject to change without notice, and the associate agrees to pay the amount charged to them. E, the associate will be eligible to participate in the Keller Williams profit sharing program to the same extent and on the same terms as other Keller Williams associates. The associate must complete a binding sponsorship agreement upon becoming affiliated with our Market Center. The associate understands that our Keller Williams Market Center must become profitable before it participates in the profit sharing program, and that participating associates must remain with the Keller Williams system for a minimum period before the benefits become vested. The associate also understands and agrees that it is the associate's responsibility to ensure any fees related to the Keller Williams profit sharing program are timely paid, and to ensure that Keller Williams has updated contact and payment information. we don't have the information, we can't communicate with you. So it's important for that. If for some reason that payment is not made to Keller Williams International to keep you in the system, it is not our responsibility to do so. We're aiming to assist you. Limited trademark license, number 4. For as long as the associate's association with our market center continues, the associate has permission to use Keller Williams Realty East Idaho's name and logo on his or her yard sign, business cards, letterhead, and other business forms and marketing or promotional materials. Subject to Keller Williams Realty International's and or the market center's advance approval of the artwork, design, and text. The licensee will arrange for the associate to have a listing on the kw.com or other website, but without express permission from Keller Williams Realty International and compliance with any policies and procedures that Keller Williams Realty International imposes, the associate may not use Keller Williams' name or logo on or in the domain name, URL, or meta tags of any website with which the associate is associated and or in any internet advertisement that the associate places. When the associate's association with our market center terminates, his or her permission to use the Keller Williams Realty East Idaho's name and logo will unconditionally cease, and the associate must immediately destroy all business forms that reflect the associate's affiliation with the Keller Williams' organization and must comply with Keller Williams Realty International's guidelines and procedures regarding website abandonment or revisions. If, with or without Keller Williams Realty International permission, the associate has used any variation of the Keller Williams' Realty name or initials in a domain name or names and or social media account or accounts, the associate will immediately transfer registration of the domain name to Keller Williams Realty International without compensation. 5. Marketing. All marketing must follow Keller Williams Realty East Idaho's guidelines, as well as comply with the Idaho Real Estate Commission's advertising guidelines. All marketing must contain the Realtor R. There's a picture here that shows it. The MLS symbols. It says multiple listing service. The equal housing symbol. The entire company name, quote, Keller Williams Realty East Idaho, end quote, in the correct and complete order without an abbreviation and in a size readable and not hidden or camouflaged. The most recent Keller Williams Realty East Idaho logo and trademark requirements must be followed per the policy and guidelines manual, and to remove all old logos in all forms of advertising. That would be business cards, signs, etc. The words, each Keller Williams Realty office is independently owned and operated, must be on the advertising. And everything must be in the appropriate colors as provided by the Keller Williams Realty International. All real estate signs must have the entire company name, Keller Williams Realty East Idaho, and are to be easily recognized and visible from a distance and not hiding or misleading and easily read at the posted speed limit on signs, billboards, etc. The full company name also needs to be at least half the size of the largest letter or word or name on the rest of the advertisement. For more information, review the Idaho Real Estate Commission's guideline number 13. Some of this information is not necessarily set in stone, but it's a request or to help enhance to make sure that you're in compliance. There are certain rules that may affect the use of or the need to use a DBA in the state of Idaho doing business as, which may affect your marketing. Please check all rules prior to publishing anything and see the licensee, the designated broker, me, prior to placing orders or publishing. Any mistakes or errors made, or the chances, or any changes to the requirement, the associate agrees to timely correct and update at their own expense. The brokerage is attempting to assist the associate, but it is ultimately the associate who must meet the compliance with the Idaho Real Estate Commission and all other guidelines. Number 6, property management policy. The associate may manage their own rental properties as a completely separate business entity. The associate is encouraged to purchase additional E&O insurance to cover themselves when dealing with property management issues. It is recommended that you familiarize yourself with the residential landlord-tenant statutes in Idaho and to be aware of and follow all fair housing rules and regulations. The associate is solely responsible for any fines or penalties that may be levied against the licensee, or inadvertently against Keller Williams Realty East Idaho for any property management or any other related activity. We try to keep things separate so that they don't confuse and think that it's part of the real estate office. Keller Williams Realty East Idaho will not receive, accept, or manage any funds from any party to a property management agreement. And as such, no rents from personally owned property will be accepted by Keller Williams Realty East Idaho. Do not use the company's address or phone number for any advertising of rentals. Number 7, E&O insurance and indemnification. A. Keller Williams Realty East Idaho obtains an E&O firm policy, which includes coverage for the associate. The associate will pay a portion of the total premium to be determined by Keller Williams Realty East Idaho. Premiums are due yearly on the 1st of July, and the associate who joins Keller Williams Realty East Idaho after July 1st will be assessed a prorated portion of the premium. The premium is considered fully earned on July 1st, and all premiums are non-refundable for any reason, including termination of this agreement. If not paid in full to the office by August 1st, then the associate's license may be inactivated until the premium is paid in full. For purposes of this section, liability means all liability, claims, damages, losses, costs, and expenses that a party sustains or incurs as a result of or in connection with a particular incident or situation related to the associate's action or lack thereof as a licensed real estate associate, salesperson. B. The associate agrees to indemnify and hold the licensee, the Market Center, and Keller Williams Realty International, harmless from and against all liability that the licensee, the Market Center, and or Keller Williams Realty International incurs and or suffers on account of the associate's intentional disregard and or breach of any law, regulation, or standard of conduct that applies to the associate's actions or activities as a licensed real estate sales associate, even if the associate leaves the Market Center. Any deductible and or expense incurred for the associate's action and or a claim made to the E&O carrier will be paid in full by the associate upon request. C. For risks not customarily covered by E&O insurance, or in the event that the E&O carrier denies coverage for any claim involving the associate, licensee, and or the Market Center, then the associate agrees to indemnify and provide defense on behalf of themselves, the licensee, the Market Center, and Keller Williams Realty International. They also agree to defend and indemnify and provide defense for any liability arising from the associate's neglect, unintentional or intentional, and or disregard or breach of any law, regulation, or standard of conduct that applies to the associate's actions or activities as a licensed real estate sales associate. The associate agrees to indemnify and hold the licensee, the Market Center, and Keller Williams Realty International harmless from and against any liability that gave rise to the liability that occurred. The associate agrees to take care of any and all costs associated with the claim or potential claim, even if the associate leaves the Market Center. D. It shall be the associate's duty to read and understand all Idaho real estate license law and rules. The duties required by Idaho law 54-2048, responsible broker for the transaction, shall also be the associate's duties to ensure those requirements are met. While Keller Williams Realty East Idaho's designated broker will supervise, review, and maintain transaction files, account for entrusted funds as per the law, it shall be the associate's duty and responsibility to ensure that all the requirements of Idaho law are met, and whenever necessary, review with the broker any issues prior to closing transactions, including the review of settlement statements to ensure the correctness. E. Keller Williams Realty East Idaho shall not be liable to any associate for any expenses incurred by him or her, nor shall the associate have authority to bind Keller Williams Realty East Idaho by any promise or representation, unless specifically authorized in advance and in writing by Keller Williams Realty East Idaho's designated broker. From time to time, claims, complaints, or litigations involving Keller Williams Realty East Idaho may arise directly from the activities of an associate. The associate agrees to pay all damages, costs, deductibles, and expenses assessed against or incurred by Keller Williams Realty East Idaho in defending or satisfying any claim or judgment imposed against Keller Williams Realty East Idaho because of the associate's activity or involvement. Further, the associate agrees to pay all reasonable legal fees and other out-of-pocket expenses, including any and all insurance deductibles, incurred by Keller Williams Realty East Idaho that arise from the associate's activity. Keller Williams Realty East Idaho agrees to work closely with the associate to keep such expenses to a minimum. The Keller Williams Realty East Idaho reserves the right to select the attorneys or attorney and reserves the right to defend any such complaint, claim, or litigation as it, in its sole discretion, sees fit. The associate shall indemnify and hold harmless Keller Williams Realty East Idaho and the licensee from all damages, fines, levies, suits, proceedings, claims, actions, bills, and or causes of action of any kind and of whatsoever nature, including but not limited to all costs, deductible, court cost, litigation expenses, and reasonable attorney's fees arising from, growing out of, in connection with, or incidental to the associate's activities and operation of a real estate business. Maintenance of any insurance required by this agreement shall not relieve the associate of any liability under this paragraph. Any deductibles or fines assessed against Keller Williams Realty East Idaho, the licensee and or the designated broker resulting from the associate's activity or error shall also be the responsibility of the associate, even if the associate has left the market center. F. The associate recognizes that he or she may not be covered by E&O insurance involving property in which the associate has or had or will have an ownership or equity interest, either direct or indirect, as an individual, partner, shareholder, or fiduciary. The exclusion of coverage does not apply to claims involving 1. The actual or attempted sale, not purchase, of real property that the associate did not construct or develop and in which the associate's combined ownership interest at the time of such sale was less than 25%. Or 2. The leasing of real property in which the associate had a combined ownership interest that was less than 50% at the time the professional real estate services were rendered. Or 3. The actual or attempted sale, not purchase, leasing, or property management of residential property by the associate who are or were not the owner of such residential property. Or 4. The sale, not purchase, of residential property wholly or partially owned by the associate's spouse or domestic partner. Or 5. The actual or attempted sale, not purchase, of real property 100% owned by the associate, if the property was acquired by the associate under a written guaranteed sale listing contract, and from acquisition to resell, the title to the property was held the associate for less than 12 months, and the property was continually offered for sale by the associate. 8. Covenants, restricted covenants, and confidential information. A. The licensee recognizes and agrees that all customer names and profiles that the associate possesses at the relationship's inception or personally develops during the time the associate is associated with the market center, collectively associate's data, constitute valuable business assets of the associate that are entitled to protection as confidential information. The licensee promises that it will not, during the time of the associate's association with the market center, or at any later time, attempt to obtain or exploit the associate's data, and will not attempt to stop the associate from taking his or her associate's data when his or her relationship with the market center ends. Now, this may be different if an associate is part of a team or group in which the separate agreement may dictate what may happen in this case. B. The associate recognizes that the licensee and other market center associates have spent substantial time, effort, and money to develop the market center's customer base and the associate's team. Except for the associate's data, which is not covered by this section, the names and profiles of customers who have bought and or sold real estate through the market center and of the associates who are associated with the market center constitute valuable business assets of the licensee and or other associates that are entitled to protection as confidential information. The associate promises that he or she will not, during the time of the associate's association with the market center, or at any later time, divulge, sell, exchange, or distribute to any person except the licensee, other associates associated with the market center, or with the licensee's written permission, other members of the Keller Williams system, the identities or profiles of any person who has bought and or sold real estate through the market center, or of any associate that the licensee has recruited to the market center. Further, The associate promises not to contact any such customer or client and or associate or to use any such profiles except in connection with the business of the market center. Number 9, terms and termination. A, this agreement shall be for a period of 1 year from the effective date written above and shall be automatically extended at the expiration date for an additional 1-year period upon the updated terms and conditions as set forth with the most recent independent contractor agreement. The associate agrees that the licensee may send an updated copy of this agreement electronically and may require the associate to sign it upon request and return it to the licensee in a timely manner. B, the associate's association with the market center may continue for an indefinite period. Either the associate or the licensee may terminate the associate's association with the market center at any time, with or without cause or prior notice. C, termination of the associate's association with the market center will not terminate any of the continuing rights or obligations of either the associate or the licensee under this agreement, particularly the covenants in Section 7 and 8, Section 7, E&O insurance and indemnification, and Section 8, restricted covenants and confidential information. D, pending transactions. This next section that I'm covering is very important because when somebody chooses to leave the office or if they're asked to leave, I typically get a lot of questions as to what happens to the listings and all that type of information. Keep in mind that the listings still are the broker's. Everything is in the broker's name. However, we want to work well with you as an agent. So there's certain things that need to be done. And while things are still in the broker's name and not transferred over to your new broker, there's certain things that I am responsible for. So in a hot market, you want to get these things taken care of immediately so that they can be put into your name. If for some reason something sells during the time frame that it's in my name, or if I have it assigned to somebody else, that individual would be responsible to take care of things with that seller. You can't just give up on them. And they would be able to receive part of the commission that's earned. So let's go through this particular so that it makes more sense to you. D, pending transactions. If the associate's association with the market center terminates, the licensee may continue to pay the associate's commissions on closed transactions in accordance with the commission splitting / capping policy or written team agreement, as long as the associate continues to hold an active Idaho real estate license. The associate shall get in writing from their team or group what will be paid to them on all pending and future transactions. The office will not modify any payments without written authorization from all of the parties involved, and it is the associate's responsibility to get that in writing before leaving. The transactions that you currently have pending will close out under Keller Williams Realty East Idaho. You need to make sure that they are compliant and complete prior to being compensated. Please download copies of any and all transactions files you would like a copy of, because soon your access to Keller Williams Command, your past online forms with Form Simplicity, and the Keller Williams intranet will be terminated. Any commission checks that will be cut to us, and then we will be able to compensate you once the file is complete. And staff verifies compliance with all the files. So it's very important, talking not in the contract, but what this means. So it's very important that you get everything compliant. Sometimes people are confused because on a team, the team is giving them a percentage. Well, sometimes even on a team, if you're not there and you're not doing your share, that amount may be modified. So you want to make sure you understand what happens if you're on a team. If you're not on a team, we will cut the check to you. But if we have to do certain things to keep this file going, there may be a reduction in how much you receive. So please be careful. E, current listings and representation agreements. All listings belong to the broker. However, if the sellers want to cancel the listing on any non-pending listing and let you relist it with your new brokerage, we are happy to do so. If the associate shares listings or agency contracts, co-listings, with other associates in the market center, the listings or agency contracts will remain with the market center, but the associate may receive his or her fair share of the related commissions when and if a sale of the property closes. Make sure you have something in writing detailing what amount should be paid to you from the other co-listing agent before leaving. The process should be a quick one. Until it is done, all listings are transferred into the broker's name, and he or she is required to take care of the listing. You are not able to market them as the listing stands, since you no longer work for our brokerage. During this time, the listing will be assigned to someone else, and they are entitled to half of the listing commission if an offer comes in before you get it transferred. Because of this, work quickly to get it canceled and relisted on the MLS with your new brokerage. With that in mind, please hurry to contact the sellers and get the appropriate forms completed and returned to the broker for his or her signature. If the seller wishes to stay with us and not switch brokerages, then the listing will not be canceled and will remain with us. We need to maintain contact with each seller, so you must provide us a complete list of all contact information. Speaking outside of this, your failure to give us that information thinking that, oh, it doesn't happen, I don't need to do so, may result in you receiving less of the commission. Because if you're hiding something and we have to go out and try to find it to communicate to protect these people that have hired our company, our brokerage firm, in which you are assisting the broker in, that would be reduced. Letter F, lock boxes. You can ask staff to print off a list of the lock boxes that have been checked out to you so they can be transferred to your new brokerage. Any unaccounted for lock boxes will be charged to you. The front desk can get you a list of the lock boxes assigned to you, so please make sure you keep that list current. Key fobs. G, you need to turn in any key fobs that you have immediately. H, E&O insurance. Make sure you do not have a lapse in your E&O policy. Once your license is pulled to your new brokerage, you are no longer covered under our office's E&O policy. It is non-transferable and non-refundable. We recommend that you apply for a tail policy prior to switching offices as well to pay your premiums or premium to your new carrier prior to making the switch. And you can also pay that to your past carrier if you want to have that tail policy. Supra E key I. You must contact Supra to verify it will continue to work and that it will show you under your new brokerage, or to cancel receiving bills to use it. J, MLS. Verify with each MLS that you are now being charged for services with your new brokerage and that you show up on the roster under them. If a fee for services comes to us, you will be required to pay it. If you are not leaving the area or business, then contact them to make sure that you are not charged for any future months. K, the office bill. Verify that your participation fees, office bill, or agent account is paid in full. If the associate owes the licensee any participation fees or other amounts, including the E&O insurance premium, at the time the associate's association with the market center terminates, or if any amounts become due after termination, the associate authorizes the licensee to deduct the amount due from any commissions or other amounts due the associate until the associate's account with the licensee has been fully paid. The licensee may also collect any funds from the associate by charging the associate's credit card that may be on file. L, remember, if you are changing offices, your new office will pull your license to their brokerage, so be prepared for all of the changes that will happen when you're ready to do so. Your new brokerage should fill out a transfer form with each multiple listing service. We will transfer the lock boxes, but not the listing. Ask your new broker. We would also like to conduct an exit interview with you. 10, representation. The associate represents to the licensee that 1, the associate is duly licensed as a real estate associate broker or salesperson, a real estate professional, in the state of Idaho, and that the associate is currently licensed and authorized to act as a real estate agent. 2, the associate is not now, and has not been within the last 5 years a defendant in any lawsuit alleging professional misconduct or violation of any deceptive trade practices / consumer protection law, nor is the associate currently subject to an investigation by a real estate commission or comparable oversight body. The associate must provide a detailed copy of any and all such activity in writing and is to be submitted with this document. So if there's any concerns out there, you need to let the broker know in writing. 3, The associate expressly represents and warrants that the associate is free to associate with the market center and that the associate is not bound by a promise or commitment to any other real estate company, agency, association, firm, person, or corporation that prohibits or prevents the associate from associating with Keller Williams system, including any non-compete agreements and the like. Number 4, no representative of the licensee in the market center of Keller Williams Realty International has represented that the associate can earn a living selling real estate, whether working part-time or full-time. The associate recognizes that the predominant method of earning income in the Keller Williams system is through the sale of real estate, and that any recruiting-based income an associate may earn is purely supplemental. B, the licensee represents to the associate that the licensee and the licensee's operating principal are duly licensed as a real estate broker, the licensee, and sales agent, the operating principal, in the state of Idaho. 11, miscellaneous provision. A, if any provision of this agreement is found to be void or unenforceable by any court or arbitration panel, the finding will have no effect on any other provision of this agreement, and all other provisions will remain in full force and effect. Severability clause. B, this agreement, including all applicable addendums and all policies and guidelines that Keller Williams Realty International and or the Market Center issues, including but not limited to the referenced Keller Williams Realty International Policies and Guidelines Manual that is not attached, constitute the entire agreement and understanding between the parties, and this document supersedes any prior agreement or understanding related to the subject matter of this agreement. No change, amendment, or waiver of any provisions of this agreement will be binding unless in writing and signed by both the associate and the licensee, unless it is referring to the normal updates to this document by the licensee. 12, safety policy. Keller Williams recommends that when an associate is meeting a customer or client for the first time, the initial appointment should take place at the office. The associate should then ask the individual to provide a copy of their driver's license or other ID for proper verification and to make a copy of it. If an associate fails to follow the above recommendation and is meeting an individual and or group at a property for the first time, it is recommended that they wait for them outside, call the office staff or their staff with the address, the buyer's name and automobile license plate number. It is recommended that the associate allow the individuals to hear that conversation. If an associate has any uneasy feeling when showing any property, they should immediately call 911. It is also recommended to leave a list of properties an associate intends to show and to call the staff when completed to let them know all is well. It is not recommended to show listings to customers or clients an associate doesn't know after hours without having someone with them. The associate is advised to have another person with them on any and all showings. 13, commission splitting and capping policies. Notwithstanding if the associate is new to the business, an individual associate, a married couple, a member of a team or group, or a commercial agent, the following shall apply to all. The associate agrees to abide by all laws, rules, codes, ethics, regulations, bylaws, and the like for any and all of the following entities they and or the company is a part of. Federal laws, Idaho state laws, real estate and otherwise, the National Association of Realtors, the Idaho Association of Realtors, the Greater Idaho Falls Association of Realtors, the Greater Pocatello Association of Realtors, the Upper Valley Association of Realtors, the Greater Blackfoot Association of Realtors, the Boise Regional Realtors, the Snake River Regional Multiple Listing Service, the Greater Pocatello Association of Realtors MLS, the Intermountain MLS, the Wasatch Front Regional MLS, the Teton Board of Realtors MLS, and or any other MLS or association of realtors that we are or may affiliate with. The amount of money the associate contributes to the company is determined by the date the associate became affiliated with the company, anniversary date. It begins on the first day of the month following the associate's license transfer date or a date determined by the licensee, and would remain that date each year thereafter. If an individual associate joins a team or group, the associate's anniversary date may be changed to the team or group anniversary date for accounting purposes. When an associate leaves a team, their anniversary date may be changed to the first day of the month following the date they left the team or group. Royalty, or also known as a franchise fee. of 6% must be paid on all commissions until a total of $3,000 is paid during each associate's year with the company. The year begins on the first day of the month following the associate's license transfer date, or a date determined by the licensee, and each year thereafter. Royalty is calculated before splits. Royalty and commission splits, unless the associate is capped on royalty and/or commission splits, will be paid on all broker price opinions, home warranty incentives, and termination/cancellation fees and referrals. The royalty year date and the anniversary date may be different. The following additional terms are for each as specified. So here you need to be able to pay attention to if it's an individual or a married couple filing a joint tax return. You have certain things. If you're a member of a team, there's different things as well. And some of these can apply now and may change later depending on what you select. A, individual, associate, or a married couple filing a joint return. The gross commission income, GCI, shall be split 70% to the associate and 30% to Keller Williams Realty East Idaho, the split, until $10,000, known as company dollar, has been paid to Keller Williams Realty East Idaho, up and until we come to the next anniversary date, when it is reset and starts over. After the $10,000 has been paid, the associate will only pay $125 per side of a transaction, up to the next 40 sides, that close before the next anniversary date. If the associate does not reach that amount, then no additional fee would be owed. Once the associate has paid the transaction fees on the additional 40 sides of the transactions, then the associate will receive 100% of his or her commissions until their next anniversary date. B, someone new to the business, an individual associate. All new associates who are in their first 6 months with an active real estate license or who have closed less than 3 transactions within the past 24 months will be participating in the Keller Williams Realty East Idaho's Productivity Coaching, PC, program. The PC program is compensated by the associate through the paying of a 10% referral fee to the PC program on any and all business conducted while in the program. This normally is for 3 months or until the associate completes his or her first 3 transactions, whichever is longer. Each sales associate will sign the separate PC agreement prior to being activated as an associate with Keller Williams Realty East Idaho. The associate agrees to have the market center collect this fee from each closing and may pay the productivity coach on their behalf. Gross commission income, GCI, shall be split 70% to the associate and 30% to Keller Williams Realty East Idaho, the split, until $10,000, known as company dollar, has been paid to Keller Williams Realty East Idaho, up and until we come to the next anniversary date, when it is reset and starts over. After the $10,000 has been paid, the associate will only pay $125 per side of a transaction, up to the next 40 sides that close before the next anniversary date. If the associate does not reach that amount, then no additional fee would be owed. Once the associate has paid the transaction fees on the 40 sides of the transaction, then the associate will receive 100% of his or her commissions until their next anniversary date. C, team or group. Gross commission income, GCI, shall be split 70% to the associate and 30% to the Keller Williams Realty East Idaho, the split, until $10,000, known as company dollar, has been paid to Keller Williams Realty East Idaho, up and until we come to the next anniversary date, when it is reset and starts over. After the $10,000 has been paid by the associate, also known as a team lead or rainmaker, the associate will only pay $125 per side of a transaction, up to the next 40 sides that close before the next anniversary date. If the associate does not reach that amount, then no additional fee would be owed. Once the associate has paid the transaction fees on the 40 sides of the transactions, then the associate will receive 100% of his or her commissions until the next anniversary date. Other associates who join the team or group are subject to an additional $5,500 company dollar. All members of the team or group must list homes in the team or group name. All signs must be in the team lead's name or the team or group name. All individual team or group members are each responsible for an additional or an individual royalty fee. D, commercial. The associate may also apply for Keller Williams commercial membership with approval of the licensee. KW Commercial is a division of Keller Williams Realty East Idaho. The associates who join KW Commercial may use either Keller Williams Realty East Idaho's residential or Keller Williams Realty East Idaho's commercial signs. All signs must have the Keller Williams Realty East Idaho name prominently displayed on the sign. KW Commercial membership requires a monthly payment of $125 for the minimum of a 12-month term. This fee is charged by Keller Williams Realty East Idaho and will be added to the associate's monthly participation fee. 14. Lockbox policy. In order to assist you in the success of your real estate business, Keller Williams Realty East Idaho provides their agents access to lockboxes. This is done through the MLS. Each agent is allotted the number of listings they hold plus 10% for the number of boxes. For example, if an agent has 12 listings, they're allowed up to 14 lockboxes. You must check the lockboxes in and out with the agent services coordinator at the front desk. Do not leave any lockboxes at the front desk without first signing the lockbox register. Upon receipt of each lockbox, the agent agrees to become the responsible party and must know the location of each individual lockbox at all times. Upon returning lockboxes, the agent signs that the lockbox is in good working order and is no longer held responsible for the location of the lockbox. Keller Williams Realty East Idaho will audit the entire lockbox inventory twice a year, and at such time it is imperative that you review the lockboxes listed under your name to ensure accuracy and accountability. If any lockbox is deemed lost or stolen, or if the agent cannot account for it, the responsible agent will be billed $125 per box for the current replacement cost as deemed by the multiple listing service. Number 15, floor time policy, participation. Participation floor time is optional. The floor time schedule should be emailed by the 15th day of each month for the following month. You must be available in office for phone calls and walk-ins during your shift. The broker determines an agent's eligibility for floor time. If the agent has not been approved by the broker, then he or she shall not be permitted to participate. Substitution. In circumstances where the agent is unavailable to fulfill their floor time, a substitute must be arranged by the agent, and the front office staff should be notified immediately. The substitute must also be qualified to participate in floor time. Policy. It is Keller Williams Realty East Idaho's policy when a customer asks for a specific agent or calls on a specific listing to transfer the call to the requested agent or listing agent. If callers have no particular request, the call will be sent to the agent on floor. If you miss your scheduled floor time, you may be taken off the schedule for the next month and may be asked to sign a new floor time request form to be placed back on the floor schedule for the following month. For agents new to the real estate within the first year of licensure, the agent must complete the scenarios with the broker before being qualified for floor time. So contact the broker for that information. Schedule. The floor time shifts are as follows. Monday through Thursday, mornings are 8 to 11, afternoons 11 to 2, evening 2 through the evening hours. Evening 2 to 6 is on Friday. Weekends beginning 6 p.m. on Friday and goes through Sunday. Reminder calls may be given the night before by the end of the business day. For the weekend and Monday morning shifts, reminder calls may be given Friday evening. If we cannot reach you, a voice message will be left, and you must return a call letting us know that you received the voice message to receive your floor time. 16, personal transaction policy. Purchasing or selling your personal residence and or investment property is one of the greatest advantages you have as a real estate professional, and it is our goal to preserve this advantage. The following guidelines apply to personal transactions. A personal transaction is a transaction which the associate is a principal. If the associate is a principal in the purchase and sale of a property, then the associate must disclose on the contract they hold an active real estate license in the state of Idaho. B, the associate is required to pay royalty on any commissions received on their personal transactions until they reach their royalty cap of $3,000. Company dollar will be waived on one side of a personal transaction per year on any commissions received. Should the associate take zero commission on more than one side of a personal transaction or on any other transaction, and the associate has not capped on company dollar, a fee of 30% of the outline company policy on commissions, found in section 18, company policy on commissions, fees, and time frame for representation, will be assessed to the associate. Please keep in mind that the E&O carrier may not cover personal transactions. 17, requirements to be a team or group. No individual associate with our office is to advertise themselves as a team or group or in any way as an entity. If they choose to do so, then they must comply with these additional requirements and become a formal team or group. These requirements go into effect on January 1st, 2020. So we're wanting you to understand them now and begin incorporating them so that on that date, you're good to go. A, in order for a team or group to be part of Keller Williams Realty East Idaho, the team or group shall have in its name, the words team or group. The team or group shall have one licensed individual that is responsible for the team or group, and he or she must have an active Idaho broker's license. This individual will be responsible for the actions of the team or group and shall have the obligation to be available to customers and or clients of the team or group. So let's talk about those two requirements so far. When we're dealing with a team or group, you got a real estate commission, and this is not into law yet. It's going to go before the legislature as of the date of this recording. They want to be able to understand that it is a team or group. So if you have the name team or group in your team or group's name, the public will know that, and the real estate commission also, so that they can find out who it is that you're affiliated with. You also need to have your affiliation with. So it could be the such and such group with, or affiliated with, or part of Keller Williams Realty East Idaho. So for advertising, you must still have the company's full business name, legible at the posted speed, etc., etc. Now, the team or group needs to have one licensed individual that is responsible for the team or group. Typically, the rainmaker or team lead would be this person, but they could have somebody else be responsible for that has to have a broker's license. Now, some people wonder that, oh, why don't they just go off and start their own office? Well, they could if they wanted to, but most people don't want to have that full liability, responsibility, and doing all those other things that are required when you have an office. So this individual is kind of a go-between that all the members of the team can talk to for assistance. By having a broker's license, they know the laws because they had to pass them to get their broker's license. They're still accountable to the broker, the designated broker, in this case, me, but they still would also have another person that they could assist or talk to that would know the laws. Let's continue. 17C. The team or group shall maintain a current list of all members on the team or group, whether licensed or not, with current names, phone numbers, and email addresses, and will provide the said list to the designated broker and Keller Williams Realty East Idaho when a change occurs. D, a copy of each team or group agreement will be kept on file with the designated broker and the brokerage for each team member. This will be submitted to the broker and the brokerage at any time they join the team or group, and if there's an update, provide that as well. 18, company policy on commissions, fees, and time frame for representation. We don't want to be considered that there's a fixed or set fee, that there's some type of price fixing happening with the offices in our area. And because of such, we post with the agents our company policy on fees. So you as a sales associate, member of a team, etc., must adhere to these rules. This is the minimum standard that you can charge. If you're going to modify it under that, you need to talk to the broker, me. So 18A, when an associate obtains a listing on behalf of the brokerage, they shall charge the following. And these figures are the minimum, and the associate is authorized to collect more than the minimum amount as set forth below. If the listing is under $15,000, then a minimum of $1,500 would be expected. Between $15,000 and $29,999, a minimum of 10% would be charged. Between $30,000 and $99,999, a minimum of 7%. Anything over $100,000 for the list price is a minimum of 6%. Now, the associate will also put into the listing agreement a cancellation fee of at least 1% or $750, whichever is greater. B, when the associate obtains a buyer representation agreement on behalf of the brokerage, they shall charge the following, and these figures are the minimum, and the associate is authorized to collect more than the minimum amount as set forth below. If the agreement to purchase is under $15,000, then a minimum of $750 would be expected. 2, from $15,000 and up, a minimum of 3%. 3, the associate will also put into the buyer representation agreement a cancellation fee of at least $750 or 1%. C, when the associate obtains a listing, there is a minimum amount of time that is acceptable for the brokerage to have to adequately market the property or to work with the buyer as a client. The following minimum time frame shall apply to all company representation agreements obtained by the associate. 1, for most property listings, a minimum of 6 months. 2, for agricultural, business, commercial, recreational, farm and ranch, land, and the like, a minimum of 12 months. 3, for buyer representation agreements, a minimum of 3 months. Paragraph 19. Additional documents. The following exhibits are an integral part of this agreement. Exhibit A, agency policy. Exhibit B, network acceptable use policy. Exhibit C, social media usage policy. Exhibit D, brokerage data privacy and sharing policy. Exhibit E, compliance and indemnity agreement. Exhibit F, Keller Williams Realty East Idaho's policy and guidelines, which is not attached. Exhibit G, sexual harassment policy. And Exhibit H, release of liability and waiver. Now here, the associate would sign that and initial the bottom page. And attached are those exhibits, except for the one that were referenced here. And you can go through the company agency policy and the like as specified in this particular document. If you have any further questions, you know you can reach me at 208-234-4357. So this document would be done on an annual basis or sooner. It could be updated. But as of right now, we're sending this out so that you can have an updated one and we can have one on file to make sure that you are with the independent contractor status.